Alright, so here we go, part 2 of 3 for the defensive adjustments. So we just focused on how to spotlight somebody. Now the next thing we're going to focus on is how to do the individual assignments. And then part 3 is actually going to be the new feature for Madden 16 on how to, make your defensive adjustments. So the part 3, tune in for that, but you need to understand part 2 to make part 3 easier for you. Alright, so first adjustment is actually in order to, well, first, the last adjustment we did, we hit triangle and we brought up the coverage adjustments. Now these coverage adjustments, you're actually telling your entire defense as a whole what you want them to do, whether you want them to press, you want them to back off, or you want them to shade or spotlight a receiver, or even use inside leverage, outside leverage, underneath. We'll discuss all of that in a different video, but so for this video, X is going to bring up, when you select somebody, you press X, and now you're going to bring up this person's individual assignments. And look at the bottom left hand corner of the screen. There's 8 options, 4 that you can do with the left analog stick and 4 that you can do with the right analog stick. So let's start with the left analog stick. Now if I was to hit up on the left analog stick, I can put this guy in a deep zone. Alright, now I'll hit X to bring up that menu again. If I hit left on a left analog stick, I put them in a flat zone, which is the light blue zone. I'll hit X and hit right on the left analog stick for a curl to flat zone. Alright, a curl to flat zone or a buzz zone is a purple zone. And then finally on the left analog stick, I'll hit down on the left analog stick to put them in a hook zone, which is also a yellow zone. Now notice with the hook zones, if you put someone in a yellow zone, their yellow zone is going to overlap, with the other zones out there. Now in order to fix that, you would just base align your defense twice to evenly space it out. So now, unfortunately, they crisscross, which I would prefer they didn't, but notice they evenly spaced out their zones here. So, they're not all cluttered. They'll cover more field that way. So let's give a better example of that before we continue. So I'm going to put him in a yellow zone, in a hook zone. I'll put him in a hook zone, and I'll put this outside linebacker in a hook zone. So I put 5 guys in a hook zone, and look how cluttered they are. Now if I base the line twice, it's going to evenly space out their yellow zones. Boom. So now they're equally now covering a 1/5 of the intermediate field. So they'll divide it up evenly depending on how many yellow zones you decide to go with. Now in order to base a line, what I did, let me go ahead and give a few more examples. So to base a line, I simply hit triangle, and notice the left analog stick, if you push it to the right, it says base a line. So you just have to base a line twice. Okay, you base the line twice, and it's going to redirect all of your yellow zones back to their, it's going to evenly space out the yellow zones. And just to give guys an FYI, if you're not familiar with it, your guys are going to line up based on, the offensive alignment. So in this case, there's a guy split out to the slot. So our outside linebacker here, he was normally supposed to be lined up here. He splits out to the slot. So if you base align your defense, that's going to bring them to the alignment, the base alignment for the original play, the way the play was drawn up. So more times than not, it's going to bring the play in tight. So actually, I can't baseline him being that I just moved him. Let me just reset the play really quick. Okay, so now I'm going to hit baseline, and notice how my defense, they all get back to their original position. So still the same coverage, it's just when you base a line, they'll come back to their original coverage, which I would recommend maybe doing on run plays to keep more guys in the box. But some pass plays, you may just want to leave it the way it is. They'll spread out, give you more field to cover. But now getting back to the video here. Now I'm controlling our strong safety now. So we just did all 4 of the left analog stick coverage options. So now let's start with the right analog stick. So let's go up. Up on the right analog stick is man coverage. So I hit up, and look, every receiver now has an icon that I can assign this guy to manually cover. Okay, so let's say if I want him to cover circle, I'll push circle. So now he's in man coverage with circle. I'll do the same thing if I want him to cover X, if I want him to cover triangle, and so on. Okay, so now if I was going to do something like how I just showed you how we stopped this corner route previously, I may man cover him against the tight end, and then I may put my outside linebacker who's blitzing, I may put him in a purple zone. So I lose a blitzer, I lose a pass rusher, but you know, I'm still going to have adequate coverage. Now, let's see. The next option we can do here is with the right analog stick. Let's see. The right analog stick is spy. So if I push the right analog stick to the left, I can put our guy in a QB spy. So you put anyone in a QB spy. So it doesn't matter if it's a lineman, if it's a safety, if it's a defensive end, a cornerback, you can put anyone in a QB spy. Okay, now the next adjustment here is blitz. You know, pushing down on the right analog stick, you put your guy into a blitz assignment. And the final one is actually bluff blitz. Now, a bluff blitz, pushing the right analog stick to the right, it's not really going to do much for you as far as a pass rush if you're not blitzing. However, let's say if I show blitz and I had two guys here on the inside, you know, coming up the middle. Now, this bluff blitz guy that I just did, he's going to take a few steps to the line, and then he's going to drop back into whatever coverage he was already assigned to. Now, what that's going to do is when he steps in, he's going to occupy either this tight end or this running back. You know, he looks like a blitzer, so they're going to step out to pick him up. Now, that's going to allow someone from the inside to maybe squeak through untouched. So go ahead and test that out with some of your blitzes. You probably will be satisfied with the results, but designing blitzes, that's probably going to be a different video. Okay, so that's phase 2 of 3 on these assignments. So again, we've now covered how to manually put our guys into different coverages by just simply switching to them. So your creativity will take over, and you can put your guys into whatever you decide, whatever you can come up with based on, you know, your offense's tendencies. So stay tuned for part 3.